Hi, I'm Eddy, and I want to share with you today a little bit about something that our small group got to get involved in. So a lot of times when we see images of people in Africa at water sources, it's this very wonderful thing. And usually that's all we hear about that story. That's usually the end. Water is provided to a community. We're all happy. We see the wonderful pictures to prove that. Well, what sometimes we don't hear about is what happens after that. My dad had an opportunity to go on a similar trip where he and a team from his church helped provide clean drinking water for a small community in Ethiopia. When he was there on trips after that first trip, he found out that the water source that they had installed was not being used at capacity due to some technical problems with how it was constructed. So what he found was people waiting in long lines to get water, hours on end, just trying to get clean drinking water. Well, it was actually quite a easy fix. What it required was money, of course, and then it would require contractors to simply cut off the top of the existing water distribution point and replace the pipe that was in there with larger pipe to provide adequate pressure for all 5 to 6 of the spigots. Well, my dad shared some of what was going on with my husband and I, and we were just thinking about it and talking about it, how it'd be great if we could participate in giving to that effort. So our small group agreed to each person to figure out how much they could give to help with this project. Everybody sent a check in, and I tallied them up and sent it all over to the church that was going, and we were able to raise $1,600 to retrofit the water distribution point, which was more than enough to cover the cost. One of the things I feel like God is teaching me is to engage His heart more. Though I'm not a wealthy person, I feel like there's something that God is inviting me to share in whatever circle that I'm in. And so I think I feel humbled by an opportunity to leverage whatever little thing I have for the sake of the kingdom. So this was sort of a test of that. And God's invitation to me to be a part, I felt like it was also an opportunity for me to test Him. Like, God, will you meet me in this place? If I simply stretch just a little bit toward you, will you come? And so it's felt wonderful to see that, yeah, He's good for it. He's good to stretch toward, that He will meet us, and He'll be a very ready help in time of need. So it was fun to discover that in living color with Him. Something that I often have known, but to experience that in living color is always just, I love that.